And here we go. Folks, live from the end zone in Chantilly, Virginia, welcome one and all to Tower Control at Arowana Mall. And now, this is it. It's Frank's Hot Dogs. It's Exaltation. And here we go. The box is locked, the lights are on. It's Splatoon fighting time. Welcome to Grand Finals here at Splat for Hope. There's your setups right there. The Splat Charger, very familiar weapon coming out from Exaltation. Has been putting in work all day, as well as that, no Splatling. The Splatling was taken out in very quick succession. And Bloop, with that Splat Charger hanging onto the tower, is going to chip away the first 12 points on the board. And they're not done yet, charging in. And that's going to take it down to at least 20. Wow, that's a 32-point advantage right now for Frank's Hot Dogs, jumping right out of the gate, saying, you know what? We know you were undefeated in round robin. Excuse me, I was about to say bracket, but pretty much in bracket. And you know what? We're not scared of you. Astro was the first one to get splatted, followed very quickly by the blaster of Licks, coming in with those end parries. Sticking and moving, but not quite quickly enough as Snugs gets the hit with the Inkjet. With the blaster, oh, but the Gold Dynamo Roller raining havoc. And of course, that was what provided the assist. Bloop administering the coup de grace with the sniper. The end parries and the squeezer being broken out. The squeezer of all weapons in a grand finals. Yeah, you're welcome, chat. I mean, I've had to commentate 2 matches with Bamboozlers in Splatoon 2. What in the world is life right now? And that's going to be, wow, checkpoint 1, Frank's Hot Dogs. They are doing some good stuff. The double by Licks is going to come in, but far too late. And that is going to be a 64-0 advantage for Frank's Hot Dogs, looking to give the first defeat to oh my god, an Exaltation. Excuse me, I just drew a blank there because frankly, I'm so used to saying that Exaltation's out in front. Maybe that's it. I'm going to say that's it, frankly. The blaster coming in. Katie might just be outnumbered, but she's not one to retreat. She does eventually retreat. We call that a commentator's curse, ladies and gentlemen. But still, that 64-0 lead is being maintained, but it looks like the push is going to start right here. But how far will it go is the question. Bloop is going to break out that Stingray, so... Oh, the countdown is still going, not respecting it at all. Will they just hop right back on, though? That is the question. So right now, 21 points. And frankly, they're not done quite yet. They're going to narrow it down to 27. So it is a 27-64 deficit, with which they are playing. Might be a little hard, but nothing worth having is easy. Licks gets taken out by Bloop with that sniper. I guess I should say Charger, but whatever. We're going to just roll with that. Ninetales with the Dynamo. Again, the Kensa Dynamo. One of those weapons that have been so influential in the new meta, those Kensa weapons in version 4, and Astro, oh man, doing the young woman dirty in the alley. Goodness gracious, you don't want to meet Astro in the dark alley, especially when he's wielding a Hydra Splatling. And now, Astro still hanging on. And making anyone who's trying to crawl through want to think twice. Ninetales certainly thought about it, and Katie, seeing that Astro is still there, thinks better of it as well. So came out unfazed, at least this time. Oh, but not there, as the custom blaster of Snugs gets right up in your face. And turns out when you get hit in the face with a blaster, it tends to hurt a little bit. So that's how that... I was about to say a loss of stock, but we're not playing Smash right now. We are splatting it up at Arowana Mall. Oh, and congratulations now to Moray Towers for being the worst map in 2 franchises. So, as we get... Say I'm wrong. Say I'm wrong. I'm talking to Sarge in production. And Bloop is going to retreat, but in the meantime, I mean, Exaltation has been putting in some serious dents, but talk about dents. The GG Ray coming out. And yeah, that's going to be a double for a Stingray, and that's going to do it! Frank's Hot Dogs hands out the first defeat to Exaltation in this whole tournament. And Exaltation calling for an audio fix here. But nonetheless, I'm sure that they can hear the defeat music playing in. And even though it was a great effort all around, total combined 25 kills for Licks and Snugs, that is going to do it. And a beautiful effort on the part of Frank's Hot Dogs, who we saw Ninetales putting in that work just to get the tower. I mean, how many times did we see that wave from that Kensa Dynamo roller descend over the tower? Sorry? Before Frank's Hot Dogs wound up taking it. And Katie, of course, just like a wasp, just buzzing around, and frankly, might be a little bit annoying, might be a little bit of a pest, one could say, but at the same time, you don't want to mess with it, otherwise you do get stung, and that certainly was the case with her in the Inkjet later on. And one of the reasons that they allowed themselves to pick up that victory, the 64-46 victory.
Oh, what was second in donations?
I believe it was Pump Track. So it looks like we're going to see Rainmaker on Humpback Pump Track.
Alright, so I am going to need both donations.
And once again, you still can donate if you want to see a particular stage being played. And once again, all those donations, they go to Help Hope Live, which is a charity that helps out people recovering from organ transplants and major illnesses. It helps their families. It helps them get their feet situated because, as we all know, we've all been sick. We've all had to go to the hospital. We know how exorbitant those bills can be. So Help Hope Live, helping to ease that burden. It's a tremendous charity. Highly recommend that you donate to them and their cause. It's wonderful what they do for families all across North America, especially here in the DMV area. So Help Hope Live, if you are so inclined, donate to them. And thank you for joining us here, twitch.tv/switchversus. I'm Stu, the announcer, rocking with you here through this grand finals tournament. And what we just saw was Frank's Hot Dogs, the team on the right, taking their first victory over Exaltation, and indeed handing Exaltation their first defeat. This is the first time Exaltation has been down, but can they rain havoc on Frank's Hot Dogs tournament hopes here? In this set, time to make it rain. And you see the setups there, no changes aside from Ninetales going with the Bloblobber, as he did in that tower control matchup in which they dominated Ace of Spades in game number 1 of their final set, which secured their grand finals. Of course, Kansas Splattershot Pro, I should say, along with that heavy Splat lane and the Splash-O-Matic coming out from Licks. And that is rounded out with the End Parry Dualies. So dueling dualies of the End Parry variety being broken out. Blue providing some support with that Stingray, but ultimately it is not enough. But they do take a 48-point advantage very quickly. Ace trying to nullify that deficit very quickly. Going to be made a little bit harder. It's 3-3 on the field, and Blue, he's being challenged by those dualies. He is forced to rethink his positioning, which could have been the advantage that they needed, but ultimately that in-your-face aggressive punch-you-in-the-mouth style gameplay is paying dividends right now for Frank's Hot Dogs, and they don't move it up, but they do take advantage of the broken barrier. So just so that it's not reset, frankly, that's pretty important. But right now, oh my goodness gracious, Snugs, they are seeing green right now. And the Booyah Bomb coming through, Astro driving through, they've taken the lead. Could this be a knockout victory? Oh, but Astro falls off. And that could be costly However, 93 points on the board is nothing to scoff at. They have taken the lead, but can that have cost them a knockout victory? Wait a second! Ace with the splat, that was critical, and the slam dunked by Astro. Oh, that could have been bad. Astro knows it. You see it on his face. But that is going to be how this set gets tied at 1. Astro, yeah, I know you just looked at me, buddy. I know you thought that you just botched that up real good, but that is going to be how the set gets tied up at 1, and Snugs with 9 splats to go along with Astro and Lix's 6. And of course, Astro with that critical, Ace with the critical splat at the very end of it all. And I thought that he was denied at the death, but yeah, the fall off into team wipe for sure. But you know what? Teamwork makes the dream work, and it certainly did for Exaltation there. And it was a great effort by Frank's Hotdogs going into it. So we're going to see Clam Blitz at the Reef for this game number 3. And again, if we see teamwork on the level that we did just there at the very end of that matchup, that spells out to be very good news for Exaltation. So as we get things going, once again, you still have time to donate if you want to see a particular level here at the Grand Finals of Splat for Hope, which are tied up at 1. In a best of 5 set, I believe it is. So this isn't going to be the winner. We've had best of 3 throughout this whole tournament, but this is in fact a best of 5. So once again, thank you to our sponsors. That is DC Esports, who have been supporting Switch Versus for a pretty long time now. Esports Fair Play, eStarland.com, the Hero Group, the Target, Fairfax, Virginia, and of course, Walmart. And yeah, I'm BCE Stu the Announcer. If you're so inclined, follow me on Twitter as well at Stu the Announcer. But of course, be sure to follow Switch Versus on Twitter at Switch Versus. That's Sarge behind the desk, who's been helping me all day. He's been my audience for my terrible jokes, and I really appreciate him for that. But looks like we are set and ready to go. So back to the action we go. The squid in the back said, everyone attack, and it turned into a Reef Clam Blitz. Frank's Hotdogs looking to retake the advantage. Exaltation looking to reassert their dominance over this tournament and prove why they went through the round robin bracket 3-0. You see the layout right there, and an appropriate song for sure. The ballpoint splatling being broken out by Astro. That seems to be the main change. You see the Splash-O-Matic, Kensa dualies this time around, and the Forge Splatter Shot Pro and Bloop. Oh wow, that's a 4-2 advantage for Frank's Hotdogs. Katie makes it 4-1, and Bloop, he has a clear line to the goal, but he does not take advantage of it. Punctual has a chance. Finally, the barrier is broken from the side. They were so concentrated on that other clam, and finally Punctual breaks on through to the other side. Shoutouts to Jim Morrison. And a 23-point start for Frank's Hotdogs. And that seems to be the name of the game right now. Hey, Crazy Crockett, you see what I did there? Thank you so much for that. And Ace breaking out the bubbles. And could we be celebrating with some bubbly? Indeed, helps him come out and tie it up. But of course, if they don't get another clam in, it'll just reset right back to 78 remaining for them. Looks like they cannot do it, and indeed it will go to 77-78 with an 11-point penalty for both teams. Astro breaking out that inkjet. Oh, just daring them to come after that pity clam. Katie gets a taste of her own medicine with that inkjet. The ballpoint splatling from Astro, a very peculiar weapon that you see every so often. Has inking capabilities, but also that kill power that it boasts when fully charged. It's nothing to be scoffed at. And Snugs drawing out that fire from Bloop. Good stuff, and Ace. Well, he gets taken to task by Katie, who again, with those end parries, they're just being pushed back right now, are Frank's Hotdogs. They can't reestablish themselves. Snugs, he's trying to go as hard as he possibly can. He does eventually super jump, and that is going to be how the barrier gets broken. And we are at 69 remaining, so a 31-28 to 23 advantage as once again the lead, the barrier, oh my goodness, just barely missing the basket. You saw all those bubbles come out, and they could have been one step closer to popping the bubbly for celebration purposes, but ultimately not able to get that in time. They do eventually break the barrier once again, but they do take it to 41 to 23, the advantage right now for Exaltation, who have just been pushing it and have not let Frank's Hotdogs get a word in elsewise. The bubbles taking out Punctual and Ace, those bubbles providing effective. Ninetales is jumping in, a solo effort from Ninetales. That barrier is going to be broken, taking that counter down, but good defense being played. It looks like they're gonna have to chip away our Frank's Hotdogs, as they were not able to get anything else in. And Katie picking up some clam for herself, but a power clam has been picked up by Exaltation. Snugs getting taken out while in the inkjet. Ace is going to be breaking it, trying to break in. Oh, and he has the bubbles coming through, pops them, gets a clear lane in, and that is how he takes the counter down to 51. So already we are halfway home for these two teams here with less than a minute remaining. Now the real question is, Ninetales has not been able to assert himself at all with that ballpoint splatling. Oh, and Bloop gets taken out, neutralizes the threat. There are clams coming through. And Ace trying to clear a path as well. As bubbles have been providing effective, but they keep their distance. Wisely done, and Frank's Hotdogs, oh, they've adapted to that strategy very quickly, but could it be too little too late for Frank's Hotdogs? And now the ball getting picked up. They do have something on the field, but they've been playing some excellent defense thus far. Katie, Bloop, coming in with bubbles of his own. Is he able to break on through? No, he is not. Snugs and Licks stuffs them at the goal line. And a goal line stand from Exaltation could be what makes the difference, and indeed it is. And Astro exchanging pounds with his team, playing that back line. Licks and Snugs coming through, going hard in the paint for sure, and a 32-51 victory. Well, defeat for Frank's Hotdogs, with a 51-32 victory for Exaltation, I should say, is going to be how this one shakes out. Astro with 23 kills on the Splatling. Beautifully done. And you saw the formations right there. That strategy with the bubbles just charging in. Snugs breaking out the bubbles and doing everything he possibly could to make his way in and worm his way towards the goal, providing that chip damage that wound up being the deciding factor here in that game number 3. So, to Inkblot Art Academy we go for Splat Zones. And as they decide their loadouts here, once again, we thank you for joining us. Twitch.tv/switch versus for tonight's action in Splatoon 2. I am BCE Stu, the announcer. If you have not already, hit that follow button like it owes you some money. I'm on Twitch as well. And Twitter, as you can see, both under the same name, at Stu the Announcer. I probably have a Snapchat under that same name, and a Friendster, and a LiveJournal, and a Zanga, and another Friendster, and a MySpace, and probably a Tout. I'm not really sure if Tout's even a thing anymore. I probably had a Vine under that. Rest in peace, Vine. But also Vine is back, so look for me on Vine. We're gonna be figuring that out. Either way. Switch versus, yeah, you're darn right we're Switch versus. Let's go. And Exaltation looking to go to dinner for sure after this game number 4. And now, yep, we're about to splat it up in Splat Zones here at Inkblot Art Academy. Pretty simple, control the middle of the field, and you win the game. Ninetales with the gold dynamo roller, and Astro with the Hydra splatling. Now can Frank's Hot Dogs behead the Hydra here? To game 4 we go, and Blue back to the usual splat charger, along with the dually squelchers of Punctual, and of course Katie with those familiar end parry dualies. And that's being countered by end parry dualies of Snugs breaking out the Splash-O-Matic to go along with his teammates' end parries. Oh, gets taken out, does Katie, and Snugs taking Bloop out as well. 3-2 on the field. And they reassert their control over this matchup. They are 60 points away from being declared the Splat for Hope champions. They still have control, and it's 4-2 on the field. They're going to tick this counter down. It's looking like all individual efforts. Now it's 2-4 deficit. They may very well lose control here. They could just seed it, and it wouldn't be that much of a problem because they have ticked that counter down to a pretty respectable margin. And it is a 73 to right now 15 advantage. 73 to 18, excuse me. And now, oh, a hard hit. It's a trade that I think that they'll take, taking out Snugs, but Astro, that backliner, hanging out in the middle of the field. And now they're going to cut into that penalty for 3-3 on the field for Astro and the rest of Exaltation. So not as much emphasis on the bubble blowers this time, but a lot of ink armor being broken out as Astro wants to maintain control however he can. Commanding his territory like a feudal shogun is Astro, who has not ceded much of anything at all until just there, where finally the penalty will be cut into by Frank's Hot Dogs, who frankly their tournament hopes could be brought to a boiling point here as Punctual, well, he says mission accomplished and retreat, but could it be just a little early? Wouldn't be the first time in American history, folks. And now Astro and the rest of Exaltation. Oh my goodness, Blue tags Snugs, and that makes it 3-3 on the field, but the advantage, once again, the penalty is gone. 75 points on the board for Exaltation. Could this be it? One last stand for Frank's Hot Dogs. Is this all they have left? 4-2 on the field. Count it down with me, folks. They're down to 5, 2, 1, and that's gonna be it. Exaltation showing their namesake right there with the pop-offs, and Exaltation are your 2018 Splat for Hope champions. Beautiful stuff.